Hi, I'm Misa Ramirez, and this is Books on the House for Kids and Teens, and I am thrilled to welcome Debbie Dadey to our site this week as our featured author. Welcome, Debbie. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I am so excited to feature you, and I've been looking at your website and am truly amazed at all the things that you've done and all that you have on there for kids, which is really what I'd love to talk about first. I saw that you have a writer's corner for kids. You're doing podcasts. Could you tell us how that came to be?
Well, I visit a lot of schools, and I love hearing the kids' comments, and a lot of kids say, will you help me write a book? And so in answer to that, I wanted to try to actually help kids, write. Oh, excuse me. Oh, gosh. I meant to turn that off.
That's good.
That writing page is a answer to hopefully helping kids with their own writing. I am in the process of adding a funky kind of additional video that totally goes through the writing process as building a hamburger and the layers to a story, like in Shrek, the layers of an onion. Well, I think a story has layers, the characters, the plot, everything kind of builds, and when you're done, you have a whole stacked hamburger of a story.
Do you get a lot of fan mail from kids and yeah?
Yeah, that's fun. A fun thing. On my website, I actually have a place where kids can write to me, Kids Talk, and then I answer every email that I get. I answer on the Debbie Talks page, and so I get email on the internet, but I also get lots of fun fan mail through the snail mail. So I enjoy getting the comments and suggestions that kids give me for fun stories that they'd like to read and the stories of mine that they enjoy. It's always nice to hear.
Yeah, I bet, because I think as a children's writer, I mean, your goal is to really connect with kids, and you really, I think, do that so well.
Oh, well, thank you. I have a lot of fun. Now, I do have 3 kids, so hopefully that helps me stay in touch with what kids like. I've just recently finished a manuscript, which I hope will get published, called Skateboarding Zombie, and it related back to my son. He is in junior high, so I don't know about the zombie part. Sometimes he kind of acts like a zombie, but it's the skateboarding part that really is from him because he's big into skateboarding. So.
Well, I think zombies are pretty hot right now, too, so that's cool. So on your site, you have a Bridget, like a Bridget area, and she's got a lot of codes, like texting. I don't know what they are called, but is that stuff that you made up, or is that coming from your kids too?
Actually, the book is called The Worst Name in Third Grade, and it's a story about a girl named Bridget Butt. And Bridget has the worst name in third grade, and of course, being a modern girl, she texts us, and so on my website, when she has her little diary, she uses some abbreviations that kids use in texting today, and believe it or not, I actually use some of those myself.
I was going to say, do you need to have them printed out as reference when you're writing? Because I would forget, do you
Actually, when I first started, I did have a little cheat sheet that I used, and on the site, on Bridget's site on my website, debbiedadey.com, there is a little page if kids aren't familiar with those terms, they can look up Bridget's slang, so they can get to know what Bridget's talking about. But Bridget is one of those kids who has something that bullies pick on, and it seems like no matter what, there's always a bully, and there's always going to find something to pick on. But Bridget's is her last name, Bridget Butt. The worst name in third.
I love that, and I love the texting, and I love how you've made it really contemporary, and so that kids can relate to that. And so the Bailey School Kids is a very popular series of yours, and then you have the Keyholder Series, and that's the books that we're featuring are the Inside Magic and what's the title?
Well, there are 4 books right now in the Keyholder Series. The first one is This Side of Magic.
Okay.
The second one is The Other Side of Magic. The third one is Inside the Magic. And the fourth one is The Wrong Side of Magic. Do you hear a pattern there?
Yeah. Okay, so
I guess I like patterns. And in this series that I wrote with Marsha Jones, there are 3 kids, and they are the key holders. They are the ones who must keep the bad magic out of the real world. And so they have, luckily, some magical friends to help them, like a unicorn, a baby dragon, and a magical rat.
How fun. So how does everybody know that there's magic in this world, or how did they come upon this role as the key holders?
Well, one of the gentlemen, an older gentleman in the neighborhood, he is actually a couple hundred years old. They don't know that, but one day they find out that he is the last of the original, or one of the 3 key holders. So they are kind of apprentices. They're taking over his job, and he's teaching them how to do some magic to keep the bad creatures out of the real world. Unfortunately, some bad creatures do sneak through, like bogarts and goblins. And in book 4, actually, the whole school is taking over. Their principal and their teachers become magical creatures.
Wow, how fun. You must have a lot of fun working on that series.
It was fun. We actually brainstormed for that series for an entire year before we started writing it.
Wow. Is it going to keep going, or does it end at 4?
I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I just got some letters the other day saying, please write number 5. So I hope we get to do that.
So do you think, do they need to be read in order, or can you jump around?
You can, just like the Bailey School Kids books can be read out of order. You can read those out of order, but I think it might be more fun to read the key holders in the actual order. Bailey School Kids books was not written as a series. We wrote Vampires Don't Wear Polka Dots, our first book, as an individual book. We wrote the first 6 as individual books because we didn't know it was going to be a series. It just developed into a series.
Well, I think that's the best, when the characters take on this life that just needs to be continued.
Well, we, of course, love the Bailey School Kids books. They're like, our best friends, because we have written over 60 books in the Bailey School Kids series. But so, of course, we feel like we know them and we're best buddies with them. We've been really lucky to have several spin-off series of the Bailey School Kids books. The newest one is the Bailey School Kids Junior Chapter Book series. So it's the Bailey School Kids in 2nd grade.
Oh, that's so neat.
So the text is a little bit easier, and there's a lot more pictures. It's even more of a graphic novel style. What I like is that kids who are better readers can read the Bailey School Kids regular chapter books or the regular books, and then if somebody's struggling a little bit more in reading or wants to read on a lower level, the Bailey School Kids Junior Chapter books look the same as the Bailey School Kids books. They're very similar. The characters are the same. The adventures are the same. It's just a little bit easier text.
Wow, that's a great idea to really enable every child at whatever their level is to read and enjoy the series.
I have a passion for reluctant readers, and I've had a couple in my family, as a matter of fact. That's why I'm so motivated to write stories that hopefully will draw kids in and want to read.
Yeah. Do you work on one book at a time, or do you go back and forth between the series that you're working on?
Usually I'm working on a couple books at a time in different stages. I don't think I could do the same stage for different books at the same time. Like maybe I'm rewriting one and I'm brainstorming another. And usually maybe I'm working on one with Marsha, my writing partner Marsha Jones, and maybe I'm working on one by myself, so that when she's working, we kind of take turns with the story, toss it back and forth like a hot potato. When she's working on her part of the story, then I can be not twiddling my thumbs, I can be working on something a little different.
What are you working on right now?
I'm working on a story called Almost Normal. I'm actually rewriting that story for, I don't know, maybe the millionth time. And it's a story about a boy who ends up kind of being a companion for an older lady who has never done anything exciting in her life. And it's high time she's done something exciting, so she decides to go skydiving.
Oh, wow.
So research for that book, I had to fall out of a plane.
Did you really?
Yes, I did. And my website, DadeyDadey.com, has me, the video where I fall out of the plane.
And you lived to tell the tale.
And I lived to tell the tale. I wasn't so sure when I was falling 100 miles an hour if this was such a good idea or not. But, it really did help me write this story better, I think.
Well, I think that's awesome. You really know what you're writing about when you experience something like that.
Yeah, no matter what I write about, I do research, whether it's, in a book for, Zombies Don't Play Soccer, did research on what, people used to believe would cure zombies. For Mrs. Jeepers in Outer Space, I went to space camp. So I think no matter what it is you're writing about, it's good to do a little research because I think it helps put a little, maybe a few little details into your story that you might otherwise miss.
Well, and you're always learning and you're having so much fun, I think, writing about what you're writing about because you get to have these unusual experiences.
That's true. When I wrote Wolfmen Don't Hula Dance, I got to go to Hawaii. So that was great research.
Okay, I know what I'm writing next. Well, thank you so much again for being here, Debbie, and good luck with the Keyholder Series, and we hope there will be many, many more. And I hope that you'll come back to Books on the House for Kids and Teens.
Oh, I would love to. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.